The mouthpiece for a clarinetist is a critical component to our expression.
To find something that's currently available that has a beautiful sound, that seems to be a hole in the industry. And we seem to all seek out these 50 and 60 and 80-year-old mouthpieces.
In the 1930s and 40s in Philadelphia, there were a couple of very notable clarinet players, Daniel Bernard first and then Ralph McLean.
The American orchestras of that time were huge. One can only imagine Daniel Bernard needed some equipment that was going to project his wonderful sound. And Henry Shedville was the mouthpiece maker in that city.
What makes the vintage mouthpieces so desirable is the sound quality and the craftsmanship involved in making that mouthpiece. Unfortunately, access to a high-quality vintage mouthpiece is extremely limited.
Even if somebody had the money to buy a vintage mouthpiece, it's not necessarily going to be an easy thing to come by.
The goal of this whole project was to create a mouthpiece that would be very, very consistent, great playing, great sounding, and be accessible to everybody. Part of D'Addario as a company, part of our DNA is innovation and quality. And we challenged our engineers to use vintage mouthpieces as our platform in a repeatable manufacturing process.
The Reserve mouthpiece was designed based on study of many, many vintage mouthpieces.
We went through what is called the CT scan, which is very similar to like when you go to the hospital, and really try to see every detail that is creating that acoustical sound.
Hundreds, maybe thousands of samples were made over the year and a half of developing this.
And we have now found a way where we can make by machine the kind of mouthpieces and with the kind of artistry that I do by hand. Most modern mouthpieces are made from injection molds. That process, inherently by its nature, leads to a great deal of variability. Using rod rubber and milling the mouthpieces allows us to control the tolerances to a far higher degree.
We are holding tolerances of a 0.5 of an inch. It's been, I think, a combination of taking art and science and really melding them together.
We've done quite a few blind tests where we'll take one of our artists and have them play a series of mouthpieces for us. And each time we've done these, the Reserve mouthpieces have come out ahead of their vintage mouthpieces.
D'Addario has taken their knowledge and their experience with engineering and manufacturing and made a vintage-like mouthpiece better and more relevant for the modern clarinet player.
I think the project is a huge success, and the people who have had the opportunity to play them are overwhelmed.
We've innovated and we've applied that philosophy of how can we do what we did yesterday better today and tomorrow. And it's really going to make great mouthpieces available to a lot of people at a very accessible price.